So yes, the Falcons do unfortunately fall to the Commanders 30-24 in overtime on Sunday Night Football. And now destiny is not in their own hands. They basically have a nightmare scenario. We have to rely off the Saints for help, which is never a good sign. So today we're just going to break it down, talk about what happened, talk about what's next for the team now that the playoff picture looks a lot different. um, we'll go down our three keys to the game from our game preview, talk about what showed up from those, what didn't, what the Falcons could have done better, and yeah, all that. So let's just jump right into it. Of course, like I said, Falcons lose 30-24 in overtime. Uh, Breaking down the first half, it was great. There was the interception early by Penix on the miscommunication. I think it was either with Blair or Hodge. I think it was Blair. But it was just a miscommunication. It sucks that it happened. Those things can't happen, obviously, but you understand why they happened, and it doesn't worry you for the future. So that's one you can kind of live with. It didn't take us out of the game at all. So yeah, could have been worse there. Defense played great in the first half. Pretty much better than I ever could have hoped for. We talked about one of our keys to the game for the game preview was just the turnover battle. Obviously, that came out even. Both quarterbacks throwing an interception. Troy Anderson, Troy Anderson. I always do that. Caden Ellis got an interception. That dude, I mean, I mentioned him a lot in the game preview. Just a complete badass. He knows how to get the job done. And yeah, it was just a great play by him. Not a terribly difficult interception. It was somewhat of an errant pass by Daniels. Speaking of Daniels, he played great. He played fantastic. The defense did a pretty good job, especially in the first half, of containing him within the pocket. That did not exactly pan out throughout the whole game. Uh, I think they had that first drive after the half, and the defense got tired. They controlled time of possession like crazy, and for some reason on offense, we got away from the running game. I understand at that point we got behind pretty early in the second half, but like you got to control time of possession. You got to match that disparity that's come up, and you have to use your number one weapon, which is Bijan Robinson. You have to utilize him, and we got away for a little while from that, and it was pretty disappointing to see that. But at the end of the day, at the end of the game, we had a chance. And Michael Penix was up and down, but he's the one that got us there. For a rookie in their second game, you have to think he played great. There were missed throws. He struggled when he had to go across his body. So I'm sure that's something that they can definitely work out this next off season. But yeah, at the end of the day, Falcons come up short, and it's disappointing. But there are some good things to look at. Again, Michael Penix looked good. Bijan had a great game. He completely controlled the game in the first half, and I wish again we could do that in the second half. But the first half, pretty successful. 2 touchdowns. He had 17 carries for 90 yards, I believe. All in all, great game from Bijan. Kind of what you would expect from him. Penix stats for y'all: 19 of 35, 223 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Another Drake London, 106 yards, I believe. No touchdowns. Kyle Pitts had a touchdown. How about that? So that's good. But of course, didn't come up with the win. The big stat that matters. So yeah. As for the future, Raheem Morris has to be better. We all know what happened with the picks. My friends and I have been saying probably could have all day. Just pretty ridiculous on his part. Everyone in the world knew to call a timeout. Like we were in a restaurant, me and some of my friends, and We were watching the game. There was other people there. Everyone in that restaurant was up screaming, "Timeout, timeout, timeout," after Mooney made that catch, and he just didn't call it. And I couldn't help but laugh at it because at this point, what do you expect? It's the Falcons. Like, we just screw that stuff up. These things that you can avoid, these things that aren't that hard to get fixed, we fail at. You think back to Dan Quinn, the year he got fired when they started 0-5, just a bunch of stupid shit. The onside kick with Dallas, everything that happened in that Dallas game was just a failure. It gets frustrating. It wears on you if you've been a longtime fan. It just sucks. So Raheem Morris has to clean up those little things. I think he does a great job in a lot of aspects, but like there's some game day things that he just doesn't seem to be able to figure out. Same problem Dan Quinn had, in my opinion. I think he was a good preparer. He was a great motivator. I think that goes for both Dan Quinn and Raheem Morris. But when it comes to game day and execution, I feel like they come short in a lot of ways. So yeah, Raheem Morris definitely has to be better. All right, one of the keys of the game that we had was explosives. Did they show up in this game? Kind of. Bijan showed up in the way that we talked about him showing up in, just rattling off, just getting us first downs, moving the change. He did that. He did that. So did Penix. Penix seems cool, calm, and collected on third down. He never looked freaked out to me. He obviously had missed throws and miscues, but I think that's just a rep thing. Like, he's only played 8 quarters of football, so those things will be figured out. The thing we talked about really though was his deep ball. We took the shots. We did. None of them really connected. There were some intermediate range passes that connected that were impressive. I think of the one on 4th down on that last drive, or the second to last drive, the touchdown drive on 4th down. Yeah, that was great. Great route by London and a great way to make a man miss. But Penix's deep ball just, they weren't on the mark. Again, not something I'm worried about. I'm sure next season we will see a much higher success rate on those. But, last night they didn't really connect, and it is unfortunate, but it's just the reality of starting a rookie quarterback in their second game in a high pressure situation. And again, all things considered, he did very well. I also think the Falcons did a pretty good job in the red zone overall. The offense was fairly efficient, and the defense, again, in the first half did great. Held them to 7 points in the half. I will take that all day long. Any team would. And the interception helped a lot. That's all what we talked about, right? Just get a red zone stop or two, and we could be okay. And we were in good shape. We took it to overtime. We just fortunately lost the coin flip, and who knows what would have happened if it went the other way. We will never know. But yeah, it's unfortunate to see your season come down to essentially what is a coin flip, but it's gone in the Falcons' favor multiple times. It went in our favor this year against the Buccaneers on the Thursday night football game, I believe in week 5. So, you win some, you lose some. Unfortunately, this one mattered a lot, but at this point, all the Falcons can really do is take care of business against the Panthers, which they should do any given Sunday. And on the flip side, just hope that the Buccaneers lose. I would never say that I'm rooting for the Saints to win. I'm just rooting for the Buccaneers to lose. They, the way Baker's been playing, obviously the game against the Cowboys wasn't great. Baker played pretty well. He was on and off, but last week he obviously lit it up. So we'll see what he does this week on maybe a slightly better Saints team than the Panthers. They're headed in 2 different directions. Panthers are on the up, Saints are on the down, so who knows. But, maybe they can muster something up, want to beat a division foe to end the season, end it on a high note. I will take it. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. This was sort of a disjunct episode, I understand, but there's a lot of feelings going on in here, and it's hard to organize all those thoughts, but we shall see what happens next week. Everyone keep your fingers crossed. Say your prayers to the football gods. and we'll see what happens. I'll see y'all later with a game preview. Hopefully that'll be out by Friday. And yeah, I wish I had better news for y'all, but this is the situation that we're in. And there's always next season. We've been saying that for the past 7 years, but it is true. There's always next season. Stay awesome, y'all. See you in the next one.